Oh yeah, it is time to get on down to business and get this YFZ450 started. Let's go. All right, folks, now the 200X build is over. It is time to get on down to the YFZ450, the Yamaha YFZ450 build. Rest and relaxation is over. It's time to get back on down to business. Woo! We're done. Oh yeah. Let's get out of the pool and get into the garage. Woo. All right, folks, this is very exciting. So today we begin our very next build from 11 Gallery ATV. Yes, this, my friends, is a 2006 YFZ450. Not to be confused with the YFZ450r. That one has a different square tube frame here, thicker frame, and is fuel injected and all that good stuff. We're not going to build that one. This is the plain old 450 carbureted model, and yeah. So first step we need to do is we're going to do the teardown. So man, we're not even going to talk much about this. We're just going to jump right into it. But before you do the teardown, before we can get it up on the stand there, can't see the stand, but I'm pointing at it. We need to get the fluids out of this thing. So that's where we are now. And I already got started. I apologize for that. I got carried away. Forgot to turn the camera on and just started rolling. You want to drain the oil? I got the oil out. 2 drain plugs. We'll go over there and show you the drain plugs here in a second. So yeah, you want to make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you click that all bell down there to get notified every time 11 Gallery ATV puts out a new video. You will be getting notified by YouTube. YouTube will say, hey, 11 Gallery ATV has put out another one. And yeah, make sure that you subscribe for sure so that you can keep up with this build. Because we're going to be tearing this thing down fully all the way to the frame. We're going to send the frame out to the powder coater. And we're going to redo each piece as we feel necessary. We're going to buy new of everything we need new of. We're going to be rebuilding, painting, doing all kinds of good stuff. But we're going to get this baby back to showroom or better condition. So stay tuned for that. This is going to be a detailed build. We are going to go through the motor. We're going to tear the motor all the way down. We're going to put new bearings all the way from the crank all the way up. We're going to rebuild the whole motor. And yeah, so this is going to be very exciting. And I also have a 2005 sitting over here that we're going to be pulling a couple of pieces off of this guy to fix that so that I can sell it. And then we're going to be buying some new stuff for this one. So I might sprinkle in a little of the 2005 videos also. I haven't decided yet, but if you would be interested in checking out some 2005 stuff, let me know down there in the comments. Make sure that you comment. Make sure that you, yeah, keep up with this. So without further ado, let's, all right. So the first step you want to do is drain the oil. And the way you accomplish this is there is a drain bolt right here. Crack that baby on out of there. It's a 12mm head bolt. And then there's another one on the bottom of the oil tank. Right down here underneath the oil tank. On the very bottom of it, crack that baby. And yeah, that will get all the oil out. And make sure that you put those back in so that you don't lose them. And yeah, that's where we are now. So next step we're going to do is we are going to drain the coolant. So come on with me. Before we get to the coolant, let's get the plastics off of this thing because we're going to need to crack the radiator cap and do some stuff like that. And all this stuff is underneath the plastics. And before we put it on the lift, let's get the plastics off. So obviously it's not up higher, it's already at the proper height. So let's get to town. The very first thing that's going to come off is the seat. And right here, this little white thing, all you do is pull it back. Boom. It's got the little latch right here. And that's all there is to that. Very simple process. And then once again, you want to remove your battery because we're going to be pulling all this stuff off. We're gonna be pulling all of this right now. We're gonna be pulling the airbox. We're gonna be pulling the rear fenders. We're gonna be pulling the front fenders. We're gonna be pulling the side fenders. Yeah, so let's get the plastics off of this thing. So we're gonna pull this guy. This holds the back plastic on. We're gonna pull these two right here, which hold this clip down, which is the battery. And then we'll pull these two, which hold the airbox. These two, which hold the airbox. And these two, which hold the front of these plastics here. So let's get all these guys out. We're missing one of the, we're missing the collar on this side. The metal collar needs to go through right here, and one of them wasn't there, so looks like these two are here. So let's get these off. See these guys, these collars. And then these two right here. Alright, next step is going to be to remove this battery out of here. We already got these loose. So first let's pop this clip, and you want to just push in the bottom right here. And bloop, just pops right on out of there. And then we'll undo these, and this takes a couple of 8mm and we'll just crack them. And then let's just put these back in there so that we don't lose this stuff. Alright, and now this has a little clippy B right here. We can just push that right on through. There we go. And then this guy just comes right on off of here. Alright, and there's this guy. This is our solenoid. And we'll leave that on there, but we need to undo that guy. So that's a Phillips head screwdriver. And we'll of course put this washer and bolt back through here. And there you go, there's our little battery that was in there. Ever start. This thing is dead though. Junk. We will be getting a new battery. We'll be getting a new bunch of everything in this build, so. All right, now in order to continue with the rear fender and the airbox and stuff, we're gonna have to get some more plastics off because they are covering in the top order. So let's go ahead and let's just get this guy off of here. This guy just pops right off. And we're gonna have to remove the gas tank, the gas cap. We're gonna have to remove the gas cap. And then there's a couple of little plastic clips right here. And I like to just put this guy right on in there. Boom. And these just pop right out of there. Could be able to undo them, I think. There you go. Push up on the bottom and this little thing pops out, and then these guys just come right out. So there's another way to do it. There's two different ways. Both work just fine. The first way though, just a note, you'll have a better chance of breaking them other than doing it the right way, which is push up from the bottom. All right, and next we have a couple of Allen bolts. There's one here and one on the other side, and we need to remove these two. And that should be that. This baby should just pop right off of here now. Slide it out. And then I like to put the gas cap back on because otherwise it's starting to smell like gas in here. So return your gas cap to get the smell from keeping on and to stop from spilling. So there you go. All right, now we're gonna remove the side plastics. And in order to do that, we already have the back bolt back there off. We have two more. We have one up here, and we have one below down here, which we're gonna have to get off. And so let's get those babies off and get the side plastic off, and then we can get the rears off. All right, and then we have one more down here. Now the side plastic should come on right on out of there. It's zipped on here. These go backwards, and there are little tabs that go in and then forward. So you back them back out. And then this guy on this side, it's going to be a little more tricky because it's down inside of there. Well, let's just leave that there for now. The front plastics are going to come off anyway. Actually, you know what? While we're down here, in order to take the front plastics off, we need this guy. We're also going to have to remove the headlight, one here and one here, because one of these plastics bolts is behind it. All right, and then it also has a rubber grommet right here that goes into this little notch right here into the up frame here. What I like to do is just put some of these back so we know what size goes where. All right, and then we also have one more back here. Let's just get that guy out while we're sitting here. And the two that go into the plastics have little rubber grommets on them, and they go into the little holes in the plastics. The bottom ones don't have it. They're just look like this. And then we have one more Allen bolt right here. And this one has a bolt and a nut all the way through it. Chances are, it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be welded on the back of this piece right here. But we may fix it, we may not. It doesn't really matter. It holds it on perfectly. So now we can get this guy out of here. And there we go. All right, folks. Now this side is just a repeat of the other side where we have this off now. But we need to do one thing on this side. We got to get rid of the ignition. So this right here is a 27 millimeter. And it just comes right on off. Just like so. And then we have one clip over here. And let's of course put this back on. And then we have the headlight right here. We should just remove these headlights too. And basically, they just have this clip right here. And you push in on this little piece of plastic right here. Boom, and that's all there is to that. And then we have a clip on this side. Boom. And there we go. Front plastic's off. All right, folks, well, as long as we're up here and we got the front plastics off and the headlights off, let's just get the gas tank off, and that will clear up a bunch of space so we can move on before we get the rears and the airbox. So basically we're gonna take these two off right here. And these can stay on. They're not gonna fall off. And then there's supposed to be a bolt right here. Mine is missing on this machine, so that makes it much easier to remove, and we're done. We just need to get rid of the fuel line off the carburetor down here. All right, so remove this fuel line off of the carburetor, and I put a plug on it just so it doesn't drip any fuel that was in the line and everything, even though it's off. Make sure your fuel's off, and yeah, now we can get rid of this gas tank. All right, next we can remove this heat shield. And what we're gonna do here is I already got one out. We're gonna remove these little pieces of, they're just little plastic clips with a Phillips head on them for some odd, strange reason. They don't turn, they don't screw, but they got a Phillips head. Huh, anyway, so we pop these little clips off, and then there's one little piece right here that holds it on, so it's held on by like this right here. You just want to pinch this forward and get the wire out. And there you go. And then the other side, you can see what I'm talking about here. This little piece right here clips onto the frame. And that's all there is to that. And now we can get that air box. First, what you want to do before we get the air box out is there's a hose clamp right here onto the carburetor, and you want to undo this Phillips head screw right here. Mine is mangled to shit, but I got it off finally. So you want to get that loose. And then the air box. Well, we'll pop it off that way, I guess, but this boot is supposed to come with it, but for some reason that thing is jammed down the carburetor. So we'll get this out of there. And now we have this boot right here that needs to come off of the carburetor. Well, folks, that thing is on there. I don't know why. Time for a little persuasion. Now it's not on there. And there you go. Sometimes you just got to get some drastic measures on out of this thing. And boom. All right, folks. Now that we got all that junk out of there, now we can just pick this guy. Oh, wait. We need one thing. In order, first one more before we got to do this. Yeah, that was good English. Woo! Next, we have one more step before we can take these plastics up on off of there. And we got an Allen head bolt right down here at the bottom. So let's get this guy out of there. Voila! All right, folks. Now we can just pick this baby right up on off of here. After we stuff the wires through. And there we are. I should mention, technically there's two more bolts that hold the rear fenders on. These two right here, but as you can see, mine are both broken. So I didn't need those, and I totally forgot about them because they weren't holding anything. But you need to remove these as well. They're on the top of the plastics. So just FYI for that, and yeah, let's move on. All right, folks, now we are at the stage where we can crack the rest of the lines, the oil lines. We're gonna crack all the oil lines that are on here. We already drained the oil, but let's crack all the lines. That way we can get all the drips, all the stuff that's going to leak out, all that stuff done before we put it up on the stand. So we also got to drain the radiator, and we got fluid to drain and everything else. But now that we have all the plastics off, you can see this thing is like really dirty. And in order for us to have a nice surface to work with, let's get this thing cleaned up right now. Because that way we have everything still connected. Doesn't really matter because we're going to be busting this thing all the way down and cleaning it up anyway, but who knows how long it's going to take. And instead of getting water in there, let's just get this baby cleaned up and move on and get this thing on the stand and get it tore down. Woo! All right.
One eternity later.
All right, folks, we got this baby cleaned up, and next, before we put it up on the lift, we're going to get the handlebars off because they're the only thing left on the top that are going to be a problem once we get it on the lift. So let's get the handlebars and the controls off. And we're going to start with the thumb throttle, then we're going to take the brake master cylinder off, then we're going to grab the clutch, then we're going to grab the controls over there, the starter and lights and stuff, and yeah. First, let's grab this and just get it out of the way. And right into the trash. And then we have a couple screws down here on the bottom. All right, and then we'll just put these back on to keep them so we know where they go. All right, and we have a couple clips over here. We can just get rid of these guys. All right. Now we're going to get rid of the brake master cylinder here. And then we'll put all this stuff back on again. All right, now let's do the same thing and just get rid of this grip. And we can put that right in the trash. And then we'll get rid of this guy. And we'll just put that right back in there. All right, and now we can take off this guy. And we'll just put these right back on. All right, then we got a couple more clips over here, just like the other side. All right, and now we just need a 12 millimeter, and we're gonna crank off the handlebars. We'll just put these back on there too, just for now. And there we go, folks. Check that out. We're nice and clean now. We got this baby cleaned up. Just got the handlebars off. And there's nothing really up top anymore. So we're going to put this up on the lift over there. And we're going to get this baby tore down the rest of the way. We're going to start taking the wheels off. And we're going to start taking the exhaust and the motor. We're gonna get the motor out of there because we got a 2005 back here as well that we got stripped down already. And I'm gonna get this baby running. It's got a broken case half, and we're gonna pull the case half off of this guy and put it on there, and then we're just gonna get new case halves for this build right here. But anyway, yeah, make sure that you subscribe. Boom! Make sure that you ring that bell. Click the all bell notification button down there so that you get all the notifications every time 11 Gallery ATV puts out a new video. You'll get it in your inbox, and you can keep up with this build. And yeah, so make sure that you subscribe and do that. I notice a lot of you people watching are not subscribed, and you would help me out a lot with you know, algorithms on YouTube and stuff. And in order for me to continue to do this for a long period of time, I'm gonna need your guys' support and help. So far, I appreciate all you guys that have already given me the support, and I much appreciate that. And I thank you. So anyway, yeah, let's move on, and we'll get this baby up on the lift back there and continue on. All right, folks, check it out. We are up on the stand. This is very exciting. We're getting ready to tear into this dog now for reals. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get these wheels off of here. And we're going to just start on the outside, and we're going to start removing the foot pegs here and the heel guards. We'll just remove pieces here as we feel fit to keep this thing balanced on the lift. Because then we're probably going to have to do a juggling act between the front and the back. Like if I remove that swing arm, it's going to plop off the front. So we'll have to remove a little bit off the front before we remove the swing arm. Anyway, let's just get these wheels off of here. All right, folks, so in order to do this, I think we might, there's a rock inside of this tire. And I don't even know if this thing shifts or not because the motor's locked up. So I guess we should see. Let's see how it rolls. Huh, it does shift. We should probably keep it in first gear for now so we can get these off easier without them spinning. And this is weird, man. Most lug nuts I've seen are 17s. These are only 14s. Seems rather small for a lug nut. Alright, alright. I think we're going to have to go one in the front, one in the back. Alright, now let's take this left one off. This one doesn't look like it's going to be quite as easy. Well, this was not a good idea because now it's not even on the ground, and well, I guess we should have cracked these before we put it up here on the lift, huh? So let's drop it down. Yeah, sometimes you just have to improvise given the circumstances you're given. And in this case, check it out. So I removed the rear wheel back here, and now both wheels are off the back, and then we made it top heavy, and now we can, what I found I had to do was, check it out. So what I found I had to do was to get the wheel about right here with a breaker bar, and then since it's not quite touching the ground, I need to put my weight on the top of the tire here and slam it while it touches the ground. And there you go, it cracks. And then we spin it and we do that again. There. What somebody did, the reason why these are so hard, what somebody did was they painted these while they were on there. Anyway, that's how we cracked the front wheels. Let's get these other ones off and move on. All right, now that we got these cracked, we can get them off the rest of the way. All right. And now we can do the same to the other side, and then we can move on to these pegs. All right, folks, next up is the heel guard and the foot peg. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna crack this end guy, 10 millimeter. It's got a nut on there. I don't think it's supposed to spin. I think it's supposed to be welded into here. I could be wrong, but in this case, we're gonna have to grab something on the other end here. Looks like the same size, so we'll grab a wrench. And there you go. So it looks like we have a collar in the front and then a washer in the back. So we're gonna go through here like this with a washer and the bolt. The nut, sorry. So we're gonna go through the collar in the front, washer and a nut in the back. And then since we got the impact handy, we're gonna grab this guy, which is an Allen head. And it's the same way, of course. Looks like a 10 on the back. Yes, it is. Washer on the front. This one gets a collar and another collar on the back. So it's going to be like this. This is going to go through. This is going to come through the back on that side. This is going to sit between it. And then this. So this is the order we have there. And then we have 3 Phillips head screws. And that should be that for this. There we go. Then it looks like we have a 12 millimeter up here. And there you go. There's that guy. And of course it has a washer in the front. And this goes like this right here. So then we have one more 12 over here with a nut behind. No washer on this one. All right, now last but not least, we can crack this foot peg. Or not. Okay, or we get a breaker bar and we crack that thing. There we go. Crack that one. And crack that one. Now we can zip these guys off. And there we go. Now as long as we're here, we can crack this guy off. It looks like a couple of 12s. And as long as we're right here, let's just get this chain roller off of here. And it looks like it's a 12. Yow! And it spins in the back with a 10 in the back. All right, so it looks like we got the nut and we got a collar that goes into the back of here with a washer. Let's just keep all these together. All right, and now we can move on to the other side and get the other foot peg and heel guard off. And yeah, then we can move on. All right, folks, now that we got the heel guard off this side, the right side, a couple little different things on this side. The left side had the chain roller, and this side has the brake pedal and the brake master cylinder, the brake light assembly right here, and the master cylinder reservoir goes up through here, and you can't see it, but it's up here. So let's get all that stuff, but first we're gonna spray this down with some MPPL penetrant lube here on here, and I'm gonna spray a little in here just to loosen these guys up. Very first thing we're gonna do. So let's get the MPPL multi-purpose penetrant lube. It frees corroded parts right here. That's the most important. All right, now let's get this frame assembly off first. And one thing to note, on the other side, this had bolts, like regular 12mm bolts. This side has Allen heads. So we're gonna see if that's factory or not, and we'll put the proper bolts in the proper places. This looks more factory, so we'll see. This has an Allen bolt here as well, the other one did not. So we'll see, and we'll fix everything up when we rebuild it like it's supposed to be. But let's get this off here. Perfect. All right, now as long as we got Allen heads, let's just loosen this guy up. I don't want to take them all the way off yet. All right, now let's undo these springs right here and right here. And then we'll get this guy off of here. All right, now we're gonna pull this guy. We're gonna get the clevis off of there. So what you wanna do is just pull this little pin in the back, and then this guy pops out. And then there's a washer on the back as well. So this will just go through here, and then the little cotter pin will go through here. We'll just put all that back like it is. And now this guy. Comes right off of there. Guess we really didn't need to spray that down, but it didn't hurt anything. Look at that. Pretty nasty. All right, folks. Now we got all this stuff taken care of. Let's get this whole brake out. And I'm gonna leave it hooked up so we don't spill anything right now. We'll unhook it after we get it all unhooked, after we get it off of here. But we already got these cracked. So let's get the reservoir cracked, and then we can take off this bracket, and that will have all of this. Then we can undo these two, and that'll take care of this bracket with this guy. And then we can undo, we'll just go back through the swing arm and undo the caliper, and we'll take this whole unit off. So let's do this. First, let's get these guys. So, let's see if I can do this without wrecking it. All right, there's one. See if I can get lucky twice. Yes, sir, and ma'am, and whatever you identify as in this society that's all crazy and weird and whatever. We're not gonna go there. All right, so let's get that unhooked. Now we can just get rid of these. We'll just put them back in. I think we're gonna go reservoir-less when we put this back on again. We're gonna find one of those that goes on the back of here like this and has a reservoir already built onto it instead of this dumb contraption. Anyway, first things first. So now, let's get rid of this guy. These are 8mm. Then there's a bracket back here, folks. A little metal bracket that's holding this on. You want to bend it up if you can. There we go. All right, now we're broke free. So now we need to undo this top one up here. And now this one right here is holding the reservoir bracket on. All right, now we can crack these guys right here. Let's get rid of these brackets. One right here. All right, folks, now we can get rid of the caliper, and we'll be ready to get this whole assembly on up off of here. So what you're gonna do for me is that I'm gonna come through here. I'm gonna go all the way through the, with an extension, go through the chain. And these are 14mm. All right, now we should be able to pop this off. And what I like to do is take a piece of cardboard and put it in the brake pads to keep them like this. In this case, it won't matter because we're gonna rebuild the whole thing, but that's what you'd want to do if you're really just taking this off for any other purposes. And we'll just rest that here for a second because we gotta get rid of the parking brake. All right, so what you want to do here is you want to keep this guy with some tension and then flip it on up through the slot if you can, which you can't. Dude, Quit going back in there. There. All right, now we got the whole brake assembly off. There we go, folks. Brake's gone. Brake pedal's gone. Heel guard's gone. All that stuff is gone. So, yeah, now we can move on to... Actually, you know what? I just thought of something. We were going to crack all the fluids off of this thing before we put it on the stand. I didn't do that, so that sucks. So now we gotta crack all of these fluids and stuff out here because this is still full of coolant. The motor's not full of oil, but we still gotta crack the oil lines. So anyway, let's get to getting those things loose. And then we can move on to the exhaust. And yeah, let's get this motor out of there. And the radiator. So we'll move on to the exhaust, the motor, and the radiator. And we gotta figure out why that motor's locked up. So that's gonna be fun when we start tearing into that guy. And hopefully the inside's not wrecked because we need the left case half to fix. Yeah, we need the left case half to fix this guy. Because somebody did that to it. And the shift shaft is bent. So we need to reuse the shift shaft out of that motor too, hopefully. And we need to get this guy running and put back in here. Because this is a 2005 that just needs this motor fixed. It's not locked up and the top end is still in really good shape. And yeah, so we need to get that put back together with the left case half off of that, what we're doing. And we're gonna get new whole bottom end on that build we're doing. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure that you subscribe. Because I noticed a bunch of you that are watching these videos are not subscribed, and you would really, really help me out a lot. You'd allow me to keep on continuing to do this if you would just subscribe, please. That'd be awesome. Yeah, so, and make sure that you hit that bell notification up there at the top one so that every time 11 Gallery ATV pops up new videos, you'll be able to keep up with these builds, and you'll know exactly when they drop, and you'll be able to be the first to see these builds. Alright folks, well that's going to do it for this episode today. I think we're at a good stopping point, so we'll pick this up again in the next episode and we will dive deeper into this engine and figure out why that thing is locked up, because it's the strangest thing. It looks nice out here, it's clean, nothing's broken. The transmission shifts like butter. Everything, the oil was clean, the coolant was clean. I don't understand, so we're gonna have to dive into that motor and figure out why it doesn't turn. So yeah, that'll do it for this episode. Well, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you click that all notification down there, the all bell, so that you can get notified you'll get notified every time when 11 Gallery ATV puts out the new videos. And you can keep up with this Yamaha YFZ450 build. Yeah, you definitely want to do that. And that will do it for this episode. So until the next episode, peace out, Girl Scouts. Woo!